Good morning and welcome to Story Time with Joe. I'm going to do this for the next few weeks while we're not able to meet for Sunday school and Journey, and just do a short story and talk about it a little bit. So have you ever had a time when you've had something so big in your life that it was really felt like a big problem and you just didn't know what to do? Well, today's story is a story just like that. It's about a boy named David and a really big problem, a giant called Goliath. So join me as we read this cool story about a young man that had a big problem. The Israelites were waging war against the Philistines. The two armies camped on opposite slopes of the hill, or the valley between them. Jesse's three eldest sons were in Saul's army, and Jesse began to worry about them. "David," he called one day, "go to the battlefront and see if your brothers are still all right. Here's some fresh bread for them, and take these farm cheeses as present for their officers. Be careful now and hurry back." When David arrived and went to look for his brothers, he found that both sides were lined up, ready for battle. Suddenly, the noise and clatter died down, and everyone was quiet. Then the thunder of a mighty voice broke the stillness. David looked across the valley. The largest man he had ever seen was striding slowly forward. He was fully armed for battle. In front of him walked another Philistine, dwarfed by the enormous shield that he was carrying for his master. "Come on, you Israelites," the huge man thundered. "Pick a champion to fight me. If he wins, we will serve you. But if I win, you will be our slaves." "Who does he think he is?" David asked. "That's Goliath," the soldiers explained eagerly. "He comes out night and morning with this terrible challenge. We're all terrified." Sure enough, the Israelite soldiers were slinking away to their tents. David's brothers came across. "Now then, kid brother," Eliab began, "what do you think you're up to? You should be looking after those sheep of yours and mind your own business." "I only asked what was happening," David protested. "No one has any right to challenge God's people like that. Goliath is no stronger than our God." Someone told Saul about the young man who was talking so bravely, and David was summoned to the king's tent. "Your Majesty," David said to Saul, "no one need to fear this Philistine. I will fight him." "You?" Saul asked, amazed. "You're not much more than a lad. Goliath is a professional soldier. What makes you think you can win?" "God is on our side," David answered confidently. "I may be young, but I've had good practice as a shepherd. With God's help, I have killed both lions and bears when they have attacked my sheep. God will help me now." "Very well," Saul agreed. "You shall fight Goliath, and may God go with you." Saul looked David up and down. He must be properly protected. So Saul put his own bronze helmet on David's head and gave him his heavy coat of mail to put on. But when David had strapped all the big sword on too, he could hardly move. It's no good," he said breathlessly. "I'm not a soldier, and I can't fight like this one. I must use the weapons I know and trust." Saul watched uneasily as David ran down to the nearby stream and carefully chose 5 smooth pebbles from the stones beneath the water. He put them in his bag and checked his leather sling. Then he went forward to meet the Philistine champion, carrying his shepherd's stick. Goliath advanced, calling out a challenge. But instead of the usual retreating figures of the terrified Israelites, he saw a man coming to meet him. When he made out David's slight unarmed figure, he was filled with scorn and anger. "How dare you come fight me?" he roared. "What's that stick for? Do you think I'm a dog? Get closer. and I will give your body to the birds. You fight against me with your sword and spear and your great strength, David called out boldly. But I come in the name of God. He is stronger than any champion. You have cursed him, but he will give me victory so that all may know that he is the true God. Then David ran toward Goliath. He took one pebble from the bag and fitted it into his sling. With skill, he slung it around his head and aimed unerringly. The stone flew with deadly speed and hit Goliath in the middle of his forehead. Stunned, he fell to the ground. His huge body sprawled senseless. Their mighty champion, the Philistines, was dead, and the Philistines fled in terror from the battlefield. So how many of you have had something like that happen to you where maybe not a giant has come to you, but just things that are maybe a little scary? Well, the good news is, just like David trusted in God and knew that in this battle with the giant Goliath, this giant problem, God was with him. So with our problems that we might have during the week, we know that God is with us too, no matter how big they are. It's like that song, "My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. He made the stars, he made the seas, he made the elephants too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you." Come back later for another story. All right?